President Trump tonight is threatening to take action against Nigeria for what he says is the persecution and killing of Christians. In a post on Truth Social, the president said he has ordered the Pentagon to begin planning for a possible military action. Trump warned he will also, quote, immediately stop all aid and assistance to Nigeria. Nigeria's president says his country is not religiously intolerant.
What is really going on? The videos online are heartbreaking, and yet the world seems to sleep. Why should Americans care about this?
Well, Laura, we need to care, and I care as a Christian, as a Catholic. Our brothers and sisters in Christ right now are being martyred every day in Nigeria for the profession of their faith in our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. The government is the one who's propagating propaganda in this. This has been going on since 2009. There's in between 50,000 and 100,000 Christians have been murdered. Just this year, 7,000 alone. That's 35 a day. And this claim of ethnic conflict is totally bogus. It is 5-to-1 Christians being killed as opposed to other religions in Nigeria right now. This is a genocide that's happening, and we have to stand up and we have to speak out to stop this.
I mean, we heard about the Free Palestine movement and the concern about, innocent people being killed or caught in the crossfire. This is a deliberate targeting of people, women and children, for their faith. It's happening in Sudan. It's happening in Nigeria. And what can America do with our economic might and all of our influence to try to stop this madness and this ongoing slaughter? What power do we have over this part of the world?
Well, let me speak specifically to Nigeria. This is why I've requested for Nigeria to be designated a country of particular concern, which Trump had done in his first administration. But of course, the Biden administration took that designation off because they claimed the killing had more to do with land disputes that were started because of climate change. Hard to believe, but that's what they had claimed in this. So we're asking for this designation to get put back on because it actually made a difference in slowing down and stopping killings in this region.
All right, guys, so we got to talk about President Trump issuing what could reasonably be interpreted as a fatal threat towards the Nigerian Islamic terrorists, aka Boko Haram, and other terrorist groups who are currently slaughtering Christians. Okay, there is a genocide going on in Nigeria, and you probably wouldn't know that because the mainstream liberal media doesn't seem to care about it. Leftists, Democrats don't seem to care about it. The only genocide that they seem to care about is the alleged genocide that is happening in Gaza, or that was happening, because thanks to President Trump, for the most part, we do have some peace. Or put it this way, we've had more peace in Gaza than we've had in a long time. Okay, so with that being said, again, President Trump has stepped up and said that, hey, Nigeria, if you do not solve this problem, if you do not stop the mass killings of Christians happening in this country, then we're not only going to cut off all relations, all resources with your government and your country, but we also might invade as well too. Okay, we might go in guns a-blazing. We're going to make it quick. And we're going to take out the Islamic extremists and stop the mass killings of Christians ourselves, right? Essentially, what President Trump has called for is a crusade, okay? And I want to talk about it because President Trump is actually getting a lot of thanks and support, mainly from Christians in this country who, again, do not want to see Christians persecuted or slaughtered anywhere in the world. You have rapper Nicki Minaj, who has come out and thanked Trump as well too, and that is causing her to get a whole lot of backlash from the left, who's upset with the fact that she is thanking the president for standing up for Christians being persecuted and slaughtered. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get into this.
President Trump announcing he's naming Nigeria a country of particular concern after attacks on Christians in the country.
He posted, quote, "Christianity is facing an existential threat in Nigeria. Thousands of Christians are being killed. Radical Islamists are responsible for this mass slaughter." And new this morning, rapper Nicki Minaj also thanking President Trump. Quote, "Reading this made me feel a deep sense of gratitude. We live in a country where we can freely worship God. No group should ever be persecuted for practicing their religion. We don't have to share the same beliefs in order for us to respect each other. Numerous countries all around the world are being affected by this horror, and it's dangerous to pretend that we don't notice. Thank you to the president and his team for taking this seriously. God bless every persecuted Christian. Let's remember to lift them up in prayer. Beautiful words by Nicki Minaj.
Yeah, Reverend Johnny Moore has advocated for Christians in Nigeria as the president of the Congress of Christian Leaders. And joining us now, Reverend, thank you for being here. Want to get your take on the president getting involved in this issue, but we're just finding out moments ago, Nicki Minaj using her massive star power to lean into this issue. Your reaction?
I mean, this is what we prayed for a long time. If you talk to Nigerian Christians or Christians generally in that part of Africa, they all believe themselves to be forgotten people. No one cares about them. They're suffering every day. Thousands of churches killed, women going through horrible things, people beheaded. And what happened yesterday is the president of the United States gave the strongest warning a U.S. president can give, and it has teeth in it. And he says that Nigeria the entire U.S. relationship with Africa's largest economy, most populated country, biggest country, is conditioned upon how they treat persecuted Christians. And this is absolutely game changing. It puts Nigeria on the same plane as countries like the Islamic Republic of Iran. You cannot treat Christians this way any longer, the president of the United States says, without there being consequences.
I can't lie to you guys. I get goosebumps just thinking about the idea. And I know this is going to sound weird, but for whatever reason, I legitimately have goosebumps right now just thinking about the idea of the United States intervening in Nigeria to save Christians, right? Which essentially would kind of be like a crusade, right? But the fact is that you have this group of people, they're being persecuted. Nobody's doing anything about it. The UN doesn't care. Again, like I told you guys, Democrats, leftists, they don't care, right? Because again, they're Christians and the Jews aren't involved in this one. So they don't have any dog in this fight, okay? They don't seem to really care about genocide or mass slaughterings, mass killings happening. They don't care because, again, you know, a certain group of people are not involved. And for the president to step up like this and to bring attention to this issue, again, you're talking about Nigeria, you're talking about Africa, right? A lot of people don't give a damn about people losing their lives or being slaughtered in Africa. But for the president to step up and say, no, we do care, and that this is unacceptable. We cannot allow Christians to be persecuted like this. Again, it does really give me goosebumps, right? It makes me feel proud of our country. It makes me feel proud of our president because this is a real thing, and people are losing their lives because of their faith. And that's not something that we should stand for. That's not something that we should support in any way. Again, especially when it's happening to Christians. And it is certainly happening.
If my government is denying genocide, what will they say about this? United Nations, European Union, take note. This is the genocide of people that were killed. Please, and then the Senate are coming. Show them this. My Senate are coming to meet their colleagues. Senate, Ted Cruz, take this and present it to them. Is it not genocide? 501 people. And they were able to stand for Hamas and say Israel is committing genocide. What real genocide is in us? Look at the names that are here, there. They are right here in the grave. Dogo Nahawa. By the power of Jesus, we are coming back for real documentary. And we have done it, and we continue to show the world since Remo Amokri has invited to fact-banding. Do you bring the American people to this place for fact-finding? Did you bring them to this genocide ground? Remo Amokri, why didn't you bring them to Plateau to come and see this place? Are they not people? All are Christians. And you come out and tell me that there's also genocide. That even Muslims have been to shower down, to wash down, that Christians have been killed. We are tired to be outside performing burial every day. And they expect us to silence. Now is an order. Nigerian government came out openly and denied there is no massacre, there is no genocide of Christians in Nigeria. And look at it today. Is there any Muslim here? United Nations, I know you're watching me. American Senate, you are watching what I'm doing, I'm saying here. Special advisor to Trump. Now, please tell Trump to save our life in Nigeria. They are killing Christians in Nigeria, massacre Christians. If they say they kill Muslims, Muslims are being killed. By who? By Muslims.
Yeah, so in full transparency, there are videos that I just can't show, right, that I've seen of this massacre that is happening, okay? And it is something that really sends chills down your spine when you have people begging the president to save their lives. And, you know, it's one of those things where it's a situation that, again, the United States, we should try our best to stop from happening. I don't necessarily support an actual ground invasion, and I don't think that there will actually be a ground invasion of Nigeria, right? I don't think that that's actually what's going to happen. But President Trump is taking a maximalist position, right? And then hopefully that puts pressure on the government to really take this seriously, because again, there are a lot of people denying it. They're trying to, you know, say, oh, it's not just Christians, you know, it's Muslims too. And I'm not saying that Muslims aren't being killed, but a lot of it is to diminish what is happening to Christians, because they don't want the world to believe that Christians are being persecuted, right? Almost as if that's impossible or that's unheard of. You have Secretary of War Pete Hegseth. He says, yes, sir, the killing of innocent Christians in Nigeria and anywhere must end immediately. The Department of War is preparing for action. Either the Nigerian government protects Christians or we will kill the Islamic terrorists who are committing these horrible atrocities. Yeah. So again, do I think there's actually going to be a real ground invasion? No. Okay. I do think that this is diplomatic pressure, okay, on the government to, hey, take this serious, to do something about this, to stop this from happening. And I think that is where the president is coming from. Now, like I told you guys at the beginning of this video, you have people like Nicki Minaj speaking out about this, right? I think she's probably the only major Hollywood or, you know, rapper, celebrity to speak out on this that I've heard, that I've seen. And, of course, leftists are upset, right? They're boohoo, whining, crying, and they're melting down because they're now claiming that Nicki Minaj is a Trump supporter.
Now, Nicki, when they drag you for aligning yourself with that orange man, I'm not gonna have anything to say. I feel like Christianity has successfully completed its mission in controlling black people, because Nicki hasn't said anything about the genocides going on in the world, all the shit going on in the political world, and this is the first issue you want to talk about, and you want to align yourself with Trump in the name of Christianity. Girl, you know I love you. You know I love you, but I'ma talk to you how I talk to my mom when she be doing wrong things now. Cause when they drag you for aligning with that right-wing extremist orange man, I'm out, girl. I'ma have to stay silent.
Someone out there must know what is going on with Nicki Minaj. Has she been possessed? Has her accounts been hacked? Is she actually doing the thing? What is the tea? Why is she supporting Trump? What is she doing?
The bars are back in battle because Nicki Minaj is a Trump supporter. Well, that's what people are claiming, because she reposted Donald Trump's post today, acknowledging what's going on in Nigeria, thanking him for putting some spotlight on it. Now, my breakdown of it, the way I thought about it, honestly, this is tone deaf and coming from a place of privilege. Nicki Minaj is an immigrant. So with our current status of this country, it is odd that with everything going on with immigration in this country, that she would be thanking him right now. On top of the fact that this happened today on November 1st, when SNAP benefits were cut off. Some of her supporters are also going to be very upset with him because he did not approve the emergency funding for SNAP. It is a place of privilege. Nicki Minaj pays millions of dollars in taxes in this country every year. So immigration to her is not as weighing, I would say, than the average day undocumented individual. I also don't understand what she is thanking him for. He did not say he was going to do anything in this message. That's my confusion, because it's very vague. It's like, we will now consider Nigeria to be a particular country of concern. And he's going to get some staff people to look into it. But he didn't say he was doing anything. Like, that's where my confusion is. For this to be a whole repost on your page and you're Nicki Minaj and you want to thank Donald Trump for talking about something, this is in no way to not say that we should not help Nigeria. We absolutely should if we are able to. I just also think we have to help ourselves. So without Nicki Minaj acknowledging what's going on in this country that she lives in, it's going to feel like she has to be a supporter of his because she's not criticizing any of the things that he's doing. She's thanking him. And she's an immigrant.
Somebody take the phone right now, please. This is getting out of control. She over here thinking that orange man with the wig that's fried dyed into the side. Like, what's going on? And I feel like we all knew this was coming because she kept tagging that man in her tweets like he was going to help her with her beef with Roc Nation. Like, please. I know she was upset because people were saying that what Keisha Kaur does for Gucci Mane when he's having an episode, which is protect him from the world, take his phone, delete all of his social media from his phones. She was upset because people were saying that her husband needs to do the same for her. But at this point, somebody needs to do it. When you think about her fan base in and of itself, this is not the alignment that you should be having. As a matter of fact, her as a Black Caribbean woman shouldn't be wanting to align herself with all that's going on in this country right now. Like, this is shameful. Take the phone.
The United States is now deeming Nigeria a country of particular interest because of the killing of Christians by Boko Haram. I want to be very clear about this. Boko Haram is a horrific group that has indeed killed thousands of Christians in Nigeria. But the primary victims of Boko Haram are Muslim. To only care and speak about the Christian victims of this violence that is centered in the north of Nigeria is setting up the exact same systems of preference and hierarchy that the British colonialists did, which created the ethnic conflict that we now suffer from today. Nigeria does have very, very real problems of interreligious violence, a lot of which is fueled by ethnic conflict. But using these atrocities to cut off aid to Nigeria, encourage a military intervention, a U.S. government military intervention in Nigeria, and to, let's be honest, try to distract from the genocides happening in Congo, Sudan, and Palestine is abhorrent. Care about the violence in Nigeria for real, not as a cynical way to distract from the crimes of U.S. empire.
Yeah, so again, you know, I find it to be funny that any leftist can argue that this is used as a distraction from what's happening in Gaza when, again, the president has, for the most part, stopped the violence that is happening in Gaza. It's just funny because Gaza has gotten all of the attention, right? Palestinians being killed has been something that's been talked about every single day. We've had marches in the streets. We've had people destroy property, vandalize, commit acts of domestic terrorism in the name of the Palestinians here in the United States of America. This has happened all over the world. And as soon as you want to bring any type of attention to what has happened to Christians, and actual genocide happening to Christians, okay, at the hands of Islamic extremists, all of a sudden now is, well, you're trying to distract from what's happening with the Palestinians, right? And it's like, are you serious right now? Are you serious right now? No, what they're trying to do is that they're trying to deflect from what's happening in Nigeria because, again, these people don't want you to believe that Christians are being persecuted. That happens, right? That Christians are subject to this type of violence at the hands, in this situation, of Islamic extremists, right? It doesn't fit the Marxist narrative that they want to push on everybody about the world, right? And this is why leftists are so upset about this. And Nicki Minaj is getting so much backlash for speaking out about this because of the fact that, again, they don't want the masses to understand or to know what is happening in Nigeria, that this happens to Christians, okay? Christians do go through this type of persecution, and it is important for people to be aware of it, okay? It is important for the United States to do what we can outside of, you know, declaring a full-blown war or invading Nigeria, which, you know, I don't support invading Nigeria. Again, I think that the president is coming at it from a maximalist standpoint. He's trying to basically threaten an invasion in order to incentivize the government to do the right thing, to put some resources and priority on this. So I understand where he's coming from. But yeah, I mean, we should do what we can diplomatically in order to pressure the government to stop this from happening, right? I just find it to be fascinating how the people who, again, claim that they care about genocide so much they're silent on this issue, left and right, to be honest with you, because we have a lot of people on the right as well, too, who have taken up the Palestinian cause, probably because a certain country is involved. But for whatever reason, they're silent about this, while at the same time claiming to be Christian, right? They don't really have anything to say about, again, what is currently happening in Nigeria, but they got a whole lot to say about what's happening in Gaza, right? So again, this is something that I think it's important to pay attention to, and I am proud of our president. I'm proud of our country for stepping up and getting involved and trying to stop this atrocity from happening. So let me know what you guys think. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Most importantly, share a Black conservative perspective. Peace.